Good evening and welcome to the September 26th meeting of the Murfreesboro City School Board. We're glad to have those of you in the audience with us tonight, and we're glad to have those that are at home watching on TV. At this time, we're going to stand, and I'm going to ask you to remain standing as we have our pledge tonight led by Emily Bell, who is a pre-K student at Cason Lane. Her mom also is a teacher at Hobgood, by the way. Evelyn Hunsicker, who is a pre-K student at Cason Lane also, and her mom works in central office in the Human Resources Department. Along with Jeremiah Cable, a third grade student from Bradley, and Victoria Rivera, also a third grade student from Bradley. And I'll ask you to stand for the pledge and remain standing for a moment of silence.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now our moment of silence. Thank you. Everybody go.
They got bedtimes, you know.
All right, members of the board, you have seen a copy of the agenda. We have a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Any question or comment? I see none. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. Communications. Ms. Trail?
She was here. Oh, there she is.
I'll get our platforms out of there. Good evening.
Good
evening.
I have quite the list for you tonight, so bear with me just a second. I want to start out by recognizing a couple of gentlemen that are joining us tonight. They are with the Murfreesboro Technology Council, and they broke away from another meeting to come to us. They recently donated 150 Chromebooks to our district.
All right.
I am so happy to say that those Chromebooks are already being put in use. They're actually being used in our ESL classrooms as well in our intervention classes. So they wanted to say, I'm giving them 20 seconds. I told them, I'm like, we're going to be quick. But anyway, the technology, I will say that the council focuses on, this is a group of business leaders who are just tech savvy and have come together to really make a difference in the technology around our community. So sorry, I didn't mean to get you half up and half down there.
Yeah, we're with the Murfreesboro Technology Council. We are built for this community, by technology leaders, and we're just really grateful for the opportunity to be able to help Murfreesboro schools. That's part of our mission, to network the community, provide education opportunities and technology for our community. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
You guys can do the math on that, right?
Come on.
With the exception of the City Schools Foundation, I think this is the largest gift we've ever received in Chromebooks, and we truly appreciate it, and the students appreciate it, and I know Ms. Savisa and her team were happy to get those. So like I said, they are unpacked, and I think they are in schools already, so we don't take donations and just keep them. We get them out to where they belong, so thank you guys. We really appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
On a different note, Overall Creek wants to thank Renee Crenson with Benchmark Realty and Nashville Krav Maga Murfreesboro for providing breakfast to the entire faculty and staff when they open this year. So we always love those partners that come together and just love on our teachers and our staff, and we appreciate them. Also, thank you to New Vision and Fellowship Church for once again meeting weekly to assemble weekend food backpacks for our students. These two groups of volunteers are just tremendous for us in making sure that our kids have extra food on those weekends. The majority of that food is provided by Second Harvest Food Bank through a grant, but we do find ourselves in a deficit sometimes, and we all have other faith-based organizations that step up and help us with that. In the past 3 weeks, we've had food donated by First Presbyterian. United Way's Hometown Huddle came together last week and brought us some more food, and then the City Schools Foundation is going to help pull up the slack as we get closer to those December holidays. So we appreciate that. That comes under Sharice and her team, and we appreciate everything they do. The City Schools Foundation also has their doubles tennis tournament. It's scheduled for October 27th and 28th. The registration is now open. It's $60 for a team. So if you play tennis,
What if you play tennis very badly?
if you play tennis, whether you play tennis,
Then I'll play against you. How's that?
it's for all levels, so you can play. Miss Long can play. Anyone who has, in fact, if you don't have a tennis racket, I'll let you have mine. You can play. So
Dr.
not
Duke
have.
can
You can
sign
borrow mine. You can borrow mine. So we really do hope we expect it to be a great event. And let me tell you why we expect it to be a great event and how we need it to be a great event. The foundation received 118 grant requests this year. Over $500,000 in grant requests from teachers. It is amazing what they are wanting to accomplish in their classrooms. So all of the dollars that the foundation raises goes straight back to those classrooms. Also, our very own Cynthia Gomez-Ortiz is going to be hosting the Spanish news on City TV. She starts this month, and we're so very proud of her. If y'all haven't been able to meet her, she's one of our new outreach coordinators, and is just going to be delightful on TV. I think it's a win-win all around. Reading in the Schools Day, thank you so much for all of you that came out and read to us. It was a huge success. We had volunteers in every school for hours upon hours, and what a great day. It just felt good to be back in those schools and see those children enjoying the gifts of a book. Building Strong Brains, it's a partnership between Murfreesboro City Schools, John Pittard, and Prevention Coalition is actually going on now. It's probably wrapping up now. It's a program we're trying to work together with Murfreesboro Medical Clinic and provide this to the community in various ways. But we're glad to see that's the first time we've all three come together to try to do this program. And then lastly, but not least, Bradley Academy will be celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month on October the 19th. So I expect we will be giving you flyers about that very, very soon. That is everything I have. I'll give it to Dr. Duke.
Thank you, ma'am. Very good. Best of MCS, Dr. Duke.
Thank you, Board. Tonight, I am delighted to be back in front of the Board to honor another Best of MCS employee. This month's recipient is someone who has served the students of Murfreesboro City Schools in several different roles, and we are thrilled to recognize her tonight. So I'm going to ask Miss Emily Bradley to join me at the podium. Miss Bradley is in her second full year as a school counselor. However, this is her 6th year working at MCS. Like so many other amazing employees, Miss Bradley began her work experience with us in ESP at Mitchell Nilsson, and then being promoted to the assistant site director at Mitchell Nilsson and Irma Siegel, before taking an educational assistant position at Reeves Rogers. She also served as a substitute teacher for us while completing her school counselor internship at Overall Creek. So she's been in almost every school. And in August of 2022, she moved into her current position as one of our school counselors at Scales Elementary School. If you talk to her colleagues, they will tell you that Emily is an excellent representative of MCS because she always goes above and beyond with everything she does for her school. She supports her teachers, students, and schools with anything they need. She is constantly thinking of ways she can do more for Scales, and others admire her for that. Her love to provide the very best for her students does not go unrecognized by those she works with every day. Her principal, Miss Oakley, told me that Emily is a patient, empathetic, and resourceful professional who is the multitasking ninja, helping students with their goals and challenges, collaborating with teachers, administrators, and families to develop and implement plans for diverse learners, advocating for students, fostering resilience, and restoring hope. Miss Bradley is all of these things and more. She has a servant's heart and is dedicated to others with total and unconditional love. She is a source of continuity for students amidst changes and challenges both inside and outside of Scales. Her thoughtful encouragement and consistent presence help students to feel seen and supported. She reaches beyond the school walls to support families. She is a constant advocate who works tirelessly to remove barriers and always leads with putting students first. As Ms. Oakley says, she is a true superstar. Ms. Amanda Adams from our district team also works closely with Emily and echoed many of Ms. Oakley's comments. She added that Emily brings energy and positivity to her work as a school counselor with students, parents, and staff. She is a problem solver and a team player that strives to help her students excel each day. I asked Ms. Bradley to tell me why she does what she does each day. And she said, "My students are the foundation of why I stay in education. Even on the toughest days, I get to be the person that students can lean on and rely on to always take care of them and advocate for them. Scales is a special place to me because it's the first building that I was known as a school counselor. I can still remember the excitement the first time one of my students called me a school counselor, and I realized that my dreams had come true. Since that day, Scales has felt like home, and I hope to spend many more years serving Scales and all of the future superstars to come." Well, Ms. Bradley, let me say we also hope you are able to serve the Scales superstars for many years to come. We are so thankful for the work you do each day, and on behalf of everyone in our district, let me say thank you for representing the best of MCS.
Thank you so much. It is such an honor to receive this, and I can't wait to display it in my office. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's an honor to have you. Spotlight on education, Dr. Duke. High five.
High fives, and I'm going to stay
High
down
five.
here for this as well. So tonight we are thrilled to recognize 6 of our schools for their hard work last year that resulted in true academic growth for our students. These schools achieved a level 5 TVAS growth score. This means that last year the academic growth made by students in this building was higher than the state's average growth. We know that by growing students academically, we are closing achievement gaps and preparing them for future successes as they progress through their school years. We are so excited to be able to shine a spotlight on these 6 schools and celebrate them for the hard work they have done. So at this time, I'm going to ask the principals of the schools to come forward and receive a sign they can proudly display on the grounds of their school. And then I'm going to ask them to move in front of the board so Lisa can get a picture at the end. I know we're so excited. So I'm going to start first as a level 5 school from Reeves Rogers, Miss Natalie Hardiman.
All right.
Overall Creek, Miss Ortiz.
Hey, woo!
And we'll say congratulations to Mr. Barch, too, since that was his home last year. Miss Emily Spencer with Irma Siegel.
Woo!
Mitchell Nilsson, Mr. Bryson, and Miss Newell, who was there last
Woo!
year
Woo!
as well. For the second, I'm really proud, for the second year in a row, which is incredibly hard to do, to have level 5 2 years in a row, is Bradley Academy. Dr. Lewis gets to hold the poster now, but he wouldn't be remiss to not say that the school he came from is also a level 5.
There you go.
So and finally, from Black Fox, Miss Strevel, for the 3rd year in a row. You want to grab a picture? Mr. Rocha and Mr. Barch, I want to jump up there with them too for your schools. Here we go.
Just make sure we all look good.
Yeah.
It's a tall order.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so join me in congratulating these one more time for their incredible work. Now, as the board is aware, TVAS is just one piece of data that we look at when we look at school success. The State Accountability Framework is currently under review, and this year's rollout of data and designations has been delayed because of this. However, I am confident that once all the information is unembargoed, we're going to have even more schools to celebrate. We have schools not mentioned tonight that have made tremendous progress in raising achievement rates, some that have done truly unbelievable work with English language learner scores, and others that have made Herculean strides in combating chronic absenteeism. So we're so glad to celebrate these schools tonight and look forward to hopefully being able to celebrate even more in the weeks to come.
Thank you, sir. Well, I have two accolades I'd like to give. It is an honor for me to be chairman of this board. And even more so of an honor because this board has been nominated as the School Board of the Year in our district, which is the Mid-Cumberland District. And I'm very proud to say this board has worked hard and do well, and we just hope we're going to go a little further. But thank you to the board because you are an amazing group of people to work with. I also want to give accolade. I'm going to ask Ms. Moore if she'll please give us a little bit about, we have the Tennessee School Board Association also recognizes volunteers. And Our Lady was nominated as Volunteer of the Year for the Mid-Cumberland Community section and was awarded that last night. And if you will say a little bit something about our nominee because you were the one who nominated her.
I'd be glad to. So our nominee was Katricia Robinson. She has been volunteering with city schools for over a decade. Most of that's been at Mitchell-Nielsen. And everyone you talk to who has worked with her says her focus is on making sure kids with high level of need, kind of what we might call at-risk kids, are getting what they need. She kind of embodies the whole child approach to education, and she spends so many hours doing everything from helping at basketball games to making sure kids have uniforms to helping the counselors to running the reward store. She's always there to help, and I'm so happy. So she was the winner for our district for TSBA, and will go on to represent us at the state level, and so hoping.
And she was awarded a trophy last night and a citation at the district level meeting that we had in Dixon, and it was a very nice event and honored to have her there with us.
It was. It's glad to see her recognized. She really deserves it.
Absolutely.
And
All
thanks,
right,
Amanda.
next item on the agenda, public comment. We have no public comment tonight that I'm aware of. All right. Consent items. Board, you have seen the consent items as printed. We have a motion to approve the consent items.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Settlers. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Any question or comment? I see none. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. Action items. Board Policy 1.405, Rules of Order.
Communication from the Murfreesboro City Legal Department indicates that the City Council voiced a consensus that votes by commissions, boards, and committees be roll call votes rather than voice votes in specific circumstances. Board Policy 1.405 has been updated to reflect this preference in situations where an action item does not receive unanimous approval with a voice vote. Our recommended approval would be to change Board Policy 1.405 to align with communication from the Murfreesboro City Council.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the policy 1.405?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Long. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Dodd. I was coming to it.
I know. I was just helping you.
Any question or comment? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. I read through that, Lauren. I wanted to make sure we were doing it just like you were supposed to, and I think we are.
You are doing it. I'll stop you if you're not. I will, I promise. TCA.
I'm sure you'll call my hand if 1.407, district records.
TCA 10-7-503 requires that the district's public records request coordinator be named in the district's record request policy. Board Policy 1.407 has been updated to reflect staffing changes and now identifies myself, Lauren Bush, as the public records request coordinator. That honor goes to me. So our recommended approval would be to change Board Policy 1.407 to require that, to align with that statutory requirement.
We have a motion to approve policy 1.407.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Settles. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Any question or comment?
I have a question.
Yes, sir, Mr. Ballard.
In the case of record retention is basically what we're talking about here. Do we have a schedule that says these items are 7 years, these items are 50 years, or is it just left, item by item to decide that?
Yes. So the State Board of Education has a retention schedule that school boards do use, and we would go by that schedule for retention of documents. A lot of those have been digitized, but we do maintain permanent records, and we maintain those permanently because that is what was required by the state statute. Most of the records, though, are maintained digitally now, and we do that pursuant to that schedule that's provided by the State Board.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. Board Policy 3.6000, Insurance Management.
The recommended changes to this policy incorporate Board Policy 5.1101, full-time employee benefits, which we are recommending for retirement tonight. It also changes the language for opt-out incentives to allow employees hired before 2004 who opt out of insurance and to receive a $1,500 annual incentive. There is a fiscal impact with the change of this policy. The staff recommendation would be to recommend approval of changes to Board Policy 3.600 on first reading.
We have a motion to approve the policy.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson. Have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Dodd. Any question or comment? I see none. All in favor of the change say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. Policy 5.1101, benefits for full-time employees.
Language from this board policy was added to Board Policy 3.600. Other language within the policy that does give employees full-time benefits has been added to other policies. In order to prevent duplication of policy language, our recommendation would be to retire this policy. Retirement does require 2 board readings, so the approval would be approval of retirement of this board policy on first reading.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve the policy change?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Any question or comment? I see none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And I see none. Thank you. Approval of the 2023-2024 board committee assignments.
Yes, sir. As outlined in Board Policy 1.300, the chair of the board is responsible for the appointment of board members to various committees established by Murfreesboro City School District with input from the director of schools. After reviewing last year's board committee assignments, the only change that was made is to the BEP board because that has been dissolved. Therefore, the board chair and the director of schools will no longer be required to serve on that committee, and we are recommending approval as presented.
Have a motion to approve the policy change.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Settles. Any question or comment? I see none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. Approval of Job Hastings Associates audit.
Yes, sir. The Finance Department is seeking board approval to continue professional services with Job Hastings and Associates to audit the financial statements of Murfreesboro City Schools, excluding the internal school funds, for fiscal years ending in June 30th of 2024, 2025, and 2026. fees are based on the amount of time necessary to perform the audit in an efficient but comprehensive manner as required by auditing standards. The fees do increase 3% each year and are comparable with the previous 3 fiscal years. The selection of Jobe Hastings as auditors will allow them to begin interim audit testing prior to the fiscal year end and to plan the audit timeline to ensure the audit is complete in a timely manner. We made this change to Jobe Hastings 3 years ago, and one of the reasons we did that is because they also are an auditor for the city of Murfreesboro, and they still are. So we are again recommending approval of this contract. Is a 3-year total cost of $126,300 for all 3 years.
I have a motion to approve the change in the contract.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Any question or comment?
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Richardson, yes, sir.
Working with Jobe Hastings has just been such an extraordinary journey. They've been so incredibly thorough and so communicative with the board in enlightening us on what it is we need to know. I've been so very impressed with their work, and again, it helps us coordinate with the city and their leadership. So I believe this is a prudent endeavor, and I'm really glad that we're looking at this, and it appears to be going to be a good vote moving forward.
I agree. All right, you have a motion and a second. Any other question? All in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. Approval of Matlock and Clements.
Yes, the Finance Department is also seeking board approval to continue professional services with Matlock Clements PC to audit the combined and individual financial statements of each school's internal school funds for the same fiscal years of June 30th, 2024, 2025, and 2026. These fees are based on the amount of time necessary to perform the audit in an efficient and comprehensive manner in accordance with standards. The selection of this auditor of Matlock Clements as auditor of these funds will allow them to begin the interim audit testing prior to the fiscal year end and to plan the audit timeline. The 3-year total cost of the contract is $44,850, and we are recommending approval.
We have a motion to approve the recommendation.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Any question or comment? I see none. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And I see none. Thank you. Approval of ESSER planning.
Yes, the Federal Programs and Finance Department are seeking approval of the ESSER 3.0 public plan for remaining funds planning addenda and the required health and safety plan. Both of these plans are required by the grant, and they must be updated on a regular basis, which is every 6 months through September 30th of 2023, to be in compliance with the ESSER 3.0 grant guidelines. All ESSER 3.0 grant funds must be spent or encumbered by June 30th of 2024. MCS currently has approximately $7.5 million remaining in our ESSER fund balance, and we are recommending approval as presented.
Move to approve.
Have a motion to approve, Mr. Ballard. Thank you. Have a second.
Second.
Have a second by Ms. Dodd. Any question or comment?
I have a question.
All right, sir.
I want to make sure I'm getting it right. We're required to update every 6 months through September 30th, so this,
And I am looking at that, Mr. Settles, and I think that's actually a typo on my memo. I
Okay.
apologize. It should be 2024. So I
okay, 'cause I
apologize
was
for
going to say,
that.
we don't have to do this anymore, right?
No, we'll have to do it 2 more times, or 1 more time, I should say. I apologize. I caught that as I was reading it out loud and questioned, so I appreciate that.
Thank you for that. No further questions from me.
What did you say we currently have left in that account?
In our ESSER funds, currently we're sitting at right about $7.5 million. That's a little bit that's left from ESSER 2, and I'm going to pull that real fast. Our ESSER 2 is, I think, right at 119,000 that's left at the time of the reporting, and that's really some carryovers because the last day for that was June 30th of this year, so it's just some things we're still paying out. The remaining $7.6 million is all in the ESSER 3 component. If you remember, it came in 3 different phases, ESSER 1, 2, and 3, for a grand total of close to a little over $22 million.
So this amount that we're showing is 7.679, but that doesn't, that before the 100 and some odd was taken out, right?
Yes, sir. So the 7.6 includes the ESSER 2 funds as well, which is at 119.
Okay.
What's left in ESSER 3 is $7,559,757.
All right, sir. Thank you. Any questions? Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposition? There is none. Thank you. Approval of budget amendment, public schools grant.
Yes, sir. As in the spring of 2023, many of you are aware that Governor Lee and the General Assembly included a one-time, non-recurring investment of $40 million in public school security grants as part of the FY24 budget in conjunction with Governor Lee's school safety initiatives. Funds are used to support school safety efforts, including the improving of the physical school security. This budget amendment is to recognize $369,367.23, which is the full allocation received by Murfreesboro City Schools based on our student population.
All right, you have a recommendation. Do we have a motion to approve the recommendation?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Any question or comment? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. Budget amendment.
Yes, sir. I think we're now on the 10 All-Court one. And for the Federal Programs and Finance Department are seeking a budget amendment to the 10 All-Core grant budget. This amendment will transfer $466,001 from various line items to the other contracted services or unused line item. This $466,001 will be released back to the state at the end of the grant period. This grant requires a local match, and the district received a significantly higher allocation than expected. By releasing the $466,000 back to the state, the district will be able to meet the local match requirements. This funding allocation will be used to fund the salaries and benefits of 27 Tier 1 interventionists and educational assistants, including laptops, instructional supplies, and materials. This 10 All-Core grant must be encumbered or spent by June 30th of 2024. And we did speak about this a couple workshops ago at the central office, or I'm sorry, a meeting we had at the central office a while back. And if you remember, we were expecting a little over $500,000, and we ended up getting close to $1.6 million when they gave that money out. There is that local match requirement. For every $700 per student the state gives, we have to match it with $800. So that's what we had planned in our budget. So when the increase tripled from the state, our local match then tripled as well. And so we wanted to make sure that we used the funds wisely, but weren't also redoing our budget in a way that didn't meet the needs of the district. So we are thrilled to have the funds we're going to use, which the funds that we are planning on spending and keeping are right at that $1.1 million range, which is, again, more than double what we were expecting. So we're thrilled with that. But we are going to be recommending we release some of this back to the state.
All right, we've heard the report. We have a motion to approve the budget amendment for All-Corp.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Dodd. Any question there or comment?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Will this be coming up again next year? So will we need to think ahead in our budget that we might be getting a bigger amount in the future? Because I know it probably sounds strange to anyone to say public schools are giving money back that they had, but you explained why we're having to do it. But are we anticipating a similar grant amount next year so we could budget bigger?
So we're not anticipating this grant at all next year. It's tied to ESSER funds, so it won't be coming back. I mean, you're exactly right. I always want to be careful when you talk about we're going to release money back. But with this grant specifically, it is extremely limited on what you can do with these funds. And we have worked as a team to make sure we are maximizing every dollar that we possibly can. But it is extremely limited in what we can do. And again, without having to go back to our budget, that's why we made that decision not to. But it is the last year of this grant, and it will not be coming back around again in current form unless something changes.
Okay, thank you.
Question, Mr. Settles.
Yes, I'm at the end. So we got the grant. So the $466,000 we're releasing back to the state so that we can keep the grant. I'm getting it right?
I'm sorry, can you
We're gonna
repeat?
keep the grant, and the other money at the end of the grant period is gonna go back to the state so that our local match is met.
That is correct. The local match is actually higher per pupil than the grant amount is by $100. And so, again, we were anticipating, I think it was right out on the exact number, a little bit over $500,000. So when we got the 1.6, we were very excited, but obviously started working very quickly to said, we knew our local match was gonna go up. Can we make sure we can meet local match and use every penny we can without having to go back and redo a budget and grant to that extent?
I knew there was a smart reason. I just had to hear it twice. Is Kim here?
Kim is here.
Thank you. Kim. You are so smart. Yeah, okay, so I think I got it. I think I understand it now. So it's not like everybody in television land, we're not giving away money.
For us to keep that 466,000, we would have to come up, and I'll have to figure the exact amount, but we would have to come up with another $500,000 out of our budget to keep the 466.
It made more fiscal sense just to send that
Absolutely.
back.
Because with the way our budget is already laid out, and is, we know the way we budget very tightly, and we make sure we do it, that we would be having to take away from another program
Right.
to keep money that it really, we don't feel like is in the best interest of the district.
Thank you for that. Thank you for walking me through it twice. I appreciate it.
All right, you had a recommendation, we've had a motion to approve. Now, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposition? There is none. Thank you. Budget amendment to replace maintenance vehicle.
The Finance Department's requesting approval to amend $70,000 from unassigned fund balance for the purchase of a new maintenance vehicle to replace a 2004 three-quarter ton truck that will be retired from service. The service truck has over 195,000 miles on it and is utilized by our grounds crew. Replacement is needed due to the estimate cost of the repairs. The new vehicle will be purchased off the statewide contract, and the retired vehicle will be sold on Gov Deals.
We have a motion to approve the budget amendment for the maintenance vehicle.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Any question?
Question.
Comment? Question, Mr. Sedles?
Is it a new vehicle or a used vehicle?
We
New
will
to
be,
us.
our intent is to budget to replace it with a new vehicle.
Okay. Because I thought at one time, and I could be remembering something wrong, that we only bought like a couple of years old or something vehicles.
So there was a couple years ago, we bought some vehicles. The issue was the supply of vehicles was very low, and so we looked at
That's what it-
buying some used vehicles because we could get them. Is that correct, Ms. Williams? Mhm.
So that supply chain is loosened up a little bit.
Well, we'll find out, I guess, as soon as
We
we start
hope.
looking.
If we get through the strike thing, we'll be okay.
That's right. The budget amendment we are budgeting, a budget amendment will allow us to buy a new vehicle, but if we need to buy one that's a couple years old to get one in stock, we will.
Ms. Moore?
Question, do we have any idea how much we might get on Gov Deals for the used one?
Yeah, so we're anticipating about $5,500. So the cost of the repairs is around $8,000 is what we're anticipating for the repair, and then the cost will be about $5,500 if we sell it.
Gotcha, thank you.
We've had a motion and a second and discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. All right, budget amendment to open purchase order balance.
Yes, we are seeking approval to budget the unpaid balances of open purchase orders on June 30th, 2023 from the Reserve for Encumbrance accounts from the General Purpose Schools, Nutrition, and ESP funds. Unpaid balances from the prior year are closed at each June 30th deadline, and the unbudgeted balances are carried forward to the new fiscal year. Most of these open purchase orders were for items on back order or for projects that could not be completed by June 30th. The budget amendment increases the expenditures in FY24 by $135,162 in the General Purpose Fund, $68,988 in the Nutrition Fund, and $522,240 in the ESP Fund, and reduces the reserves account by the same amount. And we are recommending approval as presented.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the budget amendment?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Settle. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Any question or comment, discussion? I see none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposition? And there is none. Thank you. Terrascape Cooperative Purchase Agreement.
Pursuant to Board Policy 2.808, a cooperative purchasing agreement with Murray County Schools for the purchase of playground mulch through Terrascape is submitted to the board for approval as the cost for this contract exceeds the $50,000 threshold. Tennessee Code Annotated allows school districts to engage in cooperative purchasing based on the same terms of a legal bid initiated by another district in Tennessee. This cooperative purchasing agreement with Murray County Schools allows NCS to purchase mulch and mulch installation from Terrascape subject to the same terms and price as the contract awarded under the Murray County bid number 24-013, and we are recommending approval of our joining this cooperative and using this bid.
You've heard the recommendation. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Dodd. Any question or comment? All in favor say aye. Any
Aye.
opposition? And there is none. Thank you. Approval of the CCLC grant.
Our federal programs and extended school program, as well as our finance department, are seeking approval of the FY24 21st Century CCLC grant with their budget allocations. This budget allows ESP to provide tutoring services at 8 schools utilizing certified teachers at Black Fox, Bradley, Cason Lane, Hobgood, John Pittard, Mitchell-Nilson, Northfield, and Reeves-Rogers. It also includes funding for transportation, instructional supplies, ESP staff, and staff professional development. The 21st Century budget total for FY24 is $571,157. This amount is consistent with what we received last year in our FY23 award. And we are recommending approval of receiving this grant.
We have a motion to approve the approval.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Any question or comment? I see none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. Budget amendment for Safe Schools.
This budget amendment is very similar to the one we did a couple motions ago regarding open purchase orders, but our finance department is seeking approval to budget the remainder of our FY23 Safe Schools revenue of $135,076 for a total carryover amount of $154,175. On September 5th, the board approved an amendment for $19,000 to purchase new cameras. This amendment budgets an additional $135 in equipment from purchase orders that were opened in FY23 but were not fulfilled by June 30th, and we are recommending approval as presented.
We have a motion to approve the budget amendment for Safe Schools.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Have a second.
Second.
Thank
Second.
you, Mr. Siddles. Any question or comment? Mr. Richardson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is sort of just a cleanup amendment. Is that right?
That is correct. Again, when we brought the original $19,000 to rebudget, at that point we still had one purchase order that was kind of hanging out there from June 30th, and so we wanted to basically rebudget that money so it appears to be coming out of FY24, even though the order was placed in FY23. If you want to add to that, Ms. Williams, or is that okay?
Well, if she has her approval to it, then I think we're okay. Thank you, Dr. Duke. Thank you, Ms. Williams. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Any other questions? I see none. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposition? There is none. Thank you. Approval of delayed bus route compensation.
We have worked hard to keep the board and the community as updated as we possibly can on the transportation issues that not only we're seeing in Murfreesboro City, but that the surrounding Middle Tennessee area and really the nation is seeing with bus drivers. Our team has worked really hard and we have been really successful at that, but we also want to be prepared if there are situations that come up where we find ourselves even tighter than we are right now. We know there may be situations where specific routes may be delayed due to driver shortage issues, and in this situation, staff would be required to assist with monitoring students before and after their contract hours. So we are seeking approval to provide compensation to exempt certified employees at a rate of $25 an hour or $12.50 per half hour for work time related to unavoidable bus delays. Non-exempt classified employees who participate would remain clocked in and continue to receive their hourly rate or overtime pay based on the board policy. This will only be used on an as-needed basis, and it would only apply for time worked beyond the exempt certified employee's 7.5-hour contract time. And we are recommending approval of this compensation plan.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All right, you have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Settles. A very good shot in the arm for those that are having to do it in the afternoons. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. Approval of the revenue expenditure report. Ms. Williams, I guess that's you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So before you tonight, you have the 3 pages that you're accustomed to seeing, the summary page, a revenue page, and an expenditure page. So this is as of August 31st, and I say that because Trey and several of us have still been working to close out June 30th. So we have officially moved into our new fiscal year. So yes, celebration. And so we still, August is really the first time that we see the first large payrolls starting to come out. The teacher payrolls, the educational assistants, librarians, school-based employees. So we're naturally going to see more expenditure than we have in revenue. This is also our first year for TISA funding. And we, again, just like with the BEP funds, we received those payments in 10 equal installments, which means in the month of July, we do not receive state money. But in August, we received our first TISA payment, and glad to see it. So we'll continue to watch the revenues and expenditures, and again, those open purchase orders. And again, the labor part of it. So next month, you will also start to see revenue coming in. And when I mentioned last fiscal year, it's those sales tax and some property taxes that were recognized last fiscal year to get the money in the right time period. So we'll start seeing new money coming through, something to anticipate in September. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, but this is pretty standard for the month of August.
Have any questions? Thank you, ma'am. Good report.
I think we need a motion to
We
approve.
need a motion to approve the report. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
you, Ms. Richardson. Have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Question or comment?
Yeah, I had a comment, Kim, and this is no reflection on you, but I'm never smart enough to ask you a question on your reports. So whenever you say, are there any questions, I never have one. I just thought I'd throw that in there because it's just way beyond and over my head. So good. That's my only comment.
I've never known a preacher to go wrong.
You have now.
Miracles still happen.
Yes, sir, I see that.
Every day.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. Reports and information. Personnel report.
The personnel report is provided to the board. Should you have any questions?
Looks like we had some good hiring.
Yeah, we have. Our HR team has done a great job continuing to fill those vacancies. And Ms. Johnson, I don't know if you want to give a report how many current openings we have on the certified side.
As far as certified, we just have one that we're in the process of filling. We actually already are in the process of that. It's a matter of finishing all the personnel.
So again, that's something we're really proud of. Ms. Johnson and her team have worked really hard to keep us fully staffed in the time of this, again, employment shortage.
And have we shown any increased interest for our bus drivers?
I'll let Mr. Barch talk about kind of where we are with bus drivers, if you would like to speak about that.
Thought he could stay off camera.
Guys.
Good evening.
We have, I actually just found out we lost one today, so we're at 31 drivers for 30 routes. And we added a double route last week, so we're at 12 double routes going with that. We have 5 being onboarded and training, and that's extensive, though. It takes actually several weeks to get that taken care of. But we have 4 that will be leaving us in various situations. So we're keeping our head above water. How's that?
Very well.
So, yeah, they're doing a fantastic job. I can't say enough about the drivers and the office staff. The number, a lot of times there's 4 in the office that are needed. Most of the time it's 1 in the office because 3 of them are driving. So they're doing a great job. They're hanging in there.
Good deal.
Thank you very much.
Enrollment report.
We would like to welcome Mr. Rocha for his first official on-camera enrollment report.
Why, thank you. Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
And for my first report, I'm going to put a screen up so you don't have to look at me.
Well played.
Don't blow it.
This is for period 1, which is August 7th to September 1st. So we're looking a little bit back for the first 20 days. I wanted to give you a snapshot of the reports that you're accustomed to seeing on a single slide. Our average daily attendance is 96.2. Looking at period 1, our count there is about 9 students above period 9 of last school year. Truancy, we're looking a lot different. We have 2 students compared to 26 students last year at this time. Chronic absentee rates are also lower as well. We're at 18. And that chronic absentee rate is the excused and not excused together, which is an important distinction. And we're below, we had 18% and it is 18% with 23% now. And this PTR rates are there as well.
I have one question. It's not all that big of a deal, but my math figuring. Pupil-teacher ratio. How do you figure the district total average? You add the kindergarten and the 4th grade, the 2 numbers together?
Yes, sir.
I got a little bit better average than what you got.
I will need to look at my numbers.
Sir?
You're gonna make them relook at it.
I got the same average that Mr. Rocha has there, Mr. Cameron.
Well, if you add 1824 and 2016 together,
Oh, no, sir.
All of them.
If you look at the bottom row there, it's the 8,656 total students divided by 458 total teachers.
well, that's why I asked how you got the average, okay? I've been corrected again today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any questions? Nope. Thank you. Good report.
Yes.
All right, director's update. Dr. Duke?
Yes, sir. Just a couple brief announcements for the board. First of all, I know you congratulated our volunteer of the year and the board. Want to give a special shout out to Miss Long and who for receiving her level 1 boardsmanship last night, and then Miss Moore and Mr. Settles for receiving level 3 last night. So great representatives of our district. So I wanted to personally say congratulations to that and for the great job all of you do with that. Also want to remind everyone that our State of the Schools event is this Thursday at 8 o'clock at Redstone Federal Credit Union. We are excited about that event and a chance to kind of spotlight to the community some of the great things happening in our district. We're going to have some students there. We're going to have some teachers of the year there. It's going to be a fun hour for those that can make it and have a little breakfast as well. And then finally, believe it or not, next week is fall break. So our teachers and our students have their eye on the prize, which is Friday afternoon. And we're looking forward to a great fall break next week. And those are all of my updates.
Okay. Anything else coming before this board tonight? Mr. Ballard?
I'd just like to make a comment. I know we like to refresh the memory of all of our constituents and people that are watching, that when we go through a rather large agenda like tonight, it doesn't just happen that we sit here and decide yay or nay at the moment that it's presented to us. There's a lot of extra time that goes in by all of the board, and so people shouldn't think that we're just lightly tiptoeing through this. We dive into it, and then we try to understand as well as we can and have those conversations prior to the meeting that's going to help smooth things out. Just, I felt, and you know, that needed to be said, because we do like to remind people every once in a while that we're not just asleep at the wheel up here. Not all of us, anyway.
Well, our board agenda is published every Thursday afternoon, isn't it, Lisa, before our meeting on Tuesday? So we have the opportunity to go through it, and we do, and the public has the opportunity to go through it, so. All right, anything else? Otherwise, I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. Have a second?
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah.